This is the Besotted Pride of West London podcast. And here we go. Tony and Brian and Bumo. Tony and Brian and Bumo. The end of the match, as you can probably tell, is another victory for the mighty Bees. Brentford 2, Forest 1, but it wasn't without controversy. It wasn't without the heart stopper. It wasn't without us looking at this game thinking, oh no, we're going to throw it away and come away with nil points. But the Bees turned it around in the end and they got 3 points and nothing less than they deserved, was it?
I love it when we score in cheaty time.
Cheaty time? What do you mean?
Well, you know, they waste time, sat back and there was 7 extra minutes to play with at the end.
There we go.
We didn't really fire today. On fire, free from his eye. We didn't really fire today. It was a bit of a nasty, niggly match, really, where, you know, fair play to Forest, they broke away and they defended and they're desperate. But ultimately, class, luck and cheaty time sorted us right out, and I'm very, very happy with those 3 points.
You very happy with cheaty time today, were you? Cheaty time?
No, I wasn't. I have to say, you know, Steve Cooper, the normal tactics that he employs in wasting, bit him back today. I mean, I did think for the second year in a row, the Bees were going to save a so-called big team from relegation by losing at the G-Tech. Fantastic performance in the last 7-10 minutes from the Bees. You know, it's really given me so much enjoyment. Weasler's on fire. Your defence is terrified. Let's go on and finish the season on the home.
La 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 la. There we go again. There we go again. Listen, and we've got it all. All sorts of singing and dancing going on. Doesn't really matter. Maybe celebrating a last-minute winner. Nothing better than celebrating the last-minute winner. The players are coming around. Everyone is singing, everyone is dancing, the players are doing their usual round of applause. Win, lose, we might be on the booze, but they're there doing their professional thing and they're actually applauding the fans, and we love that. We got the points!
We got the points!
From the cheating.
We got the points from the cheats. I think I've got a new word. Schadenfreude.
And why is that then? Why is that? Where did that come from?
Well, the time wasting in the Steve Cooper standard style was unbelievable today. Expected, but unbelievable.
Your defence is so right, we serve on fire. Your defence is so right, we serve on fire. He's on fire. He's on fire. He's on fire. Woo! La 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 la. Listen, we're all dancing. This podcast has gone to pot. It's gone to pot. I was talking to someone, and now I've gone for a little jump up. Boom, shoot. There we go. If you've got the Washington Bee, the Baltimore Bee, he's still here. He's never going home. Baltimore Bee. You got your Weasels on fire. You got it today, didn't you?
Oh, Billy, what a match to come back. Take a sad song and make it better, Josh. He put the ball in the net, he attacked. That's what we needed at that moment. Him and Ivan both. Ivan only had a few touches, but he made it count. What a match. What a day.
What a result.
What a day to be a Bee.
Forest, they're cheating. It didn't work, did it?
It never pays off. They're going down. There'll be a mediocre championship side. They may go down next year as much as their budget is, Bill. It's justice. It's West London justice.
You Bees.
Hey, you Bees.
Listen. Got more Bees in the house. Listen, we got the Bolton Bee in the house. Bolton Bee, come all the way down from Bolton. Bolton, it's your first visit to the new stadium.
Yes, it is indeed. It's been wonderful. Not a very good game of football, but the right result. Magnificent. Great to see old friends again. Come on, you Bees.
You Bees. The Bolton Bee in the house. It's good to see the Bolton Bee as well. Listen. At the end of the day, listen, come over here and talk to me. Talk to me about that. Listen, cheats never prosper, do they? Cheats never prosper.
No, and finally, Cooper got his comeuppance again. We detest that man. We hate his style of football. The cheating tactics backfired him big time today. Beautiful, Bill.
Beautiful. Listen. Tell you something. We could have cheated if we wanted to, but we didn't, did we? We just carried on with our normal game.
We know what Steve Cooper's side is going to be like, and true to expectations. Second half, both time went down every time. Ayew quite rightly booked, and but we played a better standard of football, and that's apparent. It's been that way all through the season, and it showed out in the end. That's it. Great win for the Bees.
That's right. Listen, you know when the celebrate comes on, the celebration time comes on, then you know what that means. When celebration, what does that mean? What does that mean when you hear this tune?
Billy, there's only one tune you want to hear, and it's either Free From Desire or Celebrate Good Times.
Celebrate Good Times is the original, that's the original.
The original from old GP. What a place. This place just does it one more time though, doesn't it, just?
So listen, what a result. Listen, what a result. Listen, what a result at the end of the day. I mean, it didn't look like it was coming though, did it?
I didn't know where it was coming from. I thought first half we looked really good, conceded a sucker punch. Second half, changed the team all over the place, changed the midfield, changed structures, and I just didn't know where it was coming from.
Had no idea where it was coming from. Listen, yeah, which is all good. Listen. There's a lot of happiness going on here. A lot of characters. Listen, what a result! Did you see that coming?
Unbelievable, son.
Did you see it coming?
No, at all.
No, there you go. Listen, the mutton. Come here, the mutton. Tell you something. Original B in the place. Loving that?
Fucking awesome. Absolutely brilliant.
Tell me about that. Tell me.
A new B today.
Tell me. How much?
Amazing. I just love it because it's my first time being here.
Coming back. You're going to come back.
I'm going to definitely coming back.
Right, we're feeling that. We're feeling the vibes. Listen. Yes.
Billy, never did I lose confidence. I've won that much money, I could get a taxi home.
Yeah. Listen, I'll tell you something. The beer's on you. Hope you're going back to the pub. You getting the beer's on you, mate. You know what I'm saying? Listen to the excuses. All the excuses are coming out now. Listen, here we go. Brentford in that bread. And listen, people are still streaming down. Actually, let's see who else we can nab down here as well. Listen, did you see that coming?
Oh, I saw it coming. You bet I did.
Yeah, I never Crystal ball, Mr. Meg.
Never doubted it.
There you go. Listen, how are you feeling? Result? Big result?
Absolutely buzzing. We didn't play that well, but what a comeback, what a win. And they deserve it for their time wasting, everything about it. Switching sides.
Cheats!
Well.
Cheats!
I wouldn't go that far, we've done it, but...
Yeah, but doesn't stop them from being cheats, doesn't it?
Buzzing.
Yeah, buzzing. Listen. Now, talk to me about that game. There were things that are happening that maybe should not have happened, and there are things that happened that should have happened, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's great because we shut them up. Come on, just shut them up. We did shut them up. The goal we conceded, we switched off, didn't we, just for half time? Really soft goal to see. And I have to say, I couldn't see us. We didn't look like we were going to get back into it. We looked like, they sort of like stopping everything came out. And when actually, I have to say, when Godos came on, before Godos came on, we looked like after the first lot of subs, we didn't really have any shape. And Godos came on, and suddenly we looked like we had shape, and everybody knew what they were doing.
Godos, a shape master.
Godos, a shape master.
Shape master, Godos.
But I'd like to see both. I certainly think the first goal their keeper should have done better for that. I'd like to see a back end, but who fucking cares?
Who cares?
And to be honest, when that guy, I'm sorry he did his hamstring, but when he hopped back on to fall down again, when he clearly pulled his hamstring just to waste fucking time, they got their just desserts, and I hope they go down.
Ooh! It's places rather than Leeds United.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
That's a tough call. There you go.
And they both go down.
I don't know.
I'm quite happy for everybody else to stay up. Leeds and
Forest. Nothing to do with me. You can have what you want. After that, we can do what you want.
Well done, because they fought to the end and they got their reward. And I thought couldn't see us getting anything out of it at one point, but bloody hell, hats off, brilliant job.
Hold the hats off. What result, eh?
Well, result, it was brilliant. I thought tactical masterclass from Thomas in the end, because fancy using your three. Imagine using your three substitution windows and only using one sub each time. That just shows how out of his depth Cooper is. Because they were down to 10 men. Because I was thinking, why are they down to 10 men and 3 subs? Because he used them in 3 separate windows.
Cheat.
So,
Cheat, he's just cheat.
So he
perennial.
He had no more subs, and they were down to 10 men. That was tactically brilliant from Thomas. All right, it wasn't perfect, but in the end,
we've got the points.
Together. I know, and in the end, he did it well. I know it means that Leeds might not go down, but I'll take it.
It's not for us, it's for everyone else to do the job, isn't it?
Billy, just think of Steve Cooper's tears.
They're tears. Listen, we're thinking of the tears. There's lots of tears. The tears of a Cooper. Okay, it doesn't quite ring the same as tears of a clown, but still, you know what I'm saying? So, listen. Yeah. All right, listen. Every now and again, you get a game where we play all right. We don't play that well. It's all right.
then the opposition come and they put a goal past you and you think, oh, Christ almighty, what's going on here? And it looks like you ain't going to get nothing, zero out of that game.
Yeah.
And then it looks like we were going to squeeze a little thing out of it.
Yeah.
And then the cheating takes place.
The lemon.
Yeah. And then
got the cocktail.
And then the cheating takes place. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, when you've got a little cheating and you think, oh, we're certainly not going to get anything out of this. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, ping! Bingo! We got the bingo.
Bingo! Here we go. Yeah, 50 points in the bag for the Bees. What a fantastic... What a fantastic comeback for the Bees.
That's right. I mean, talk to me about that game now. I mean, it wasn't the best game in the world, but I thought that we were still quite comfortable. Difficult because we knew that Forest was going to come down here, try and shut up a little shot a little bit, and then try and nick something as it was. That's looked like what they were going to in the end, didn't it?
We had our trunks on, didn't we? For whole of the first half, we had our trunks on for the beach. And then second half, we put studs on our little sandals, and we went out there and we did it. We did the business.
So you think that the Bees on the deck chairs, they put the towels
on the
out?
Deck chairs, they put the towels out, like they do. You know, Sade went off into the Germans, when he puts his little towel out.
That's right. I mean, okay, it's not only the only country that puts towels out. I'm sure there's other countries that do.
No, of course. No, we do it before them, actually.
Yeah, that's right. We've learned from them.
Yes, but I'm sorry about that. But actually, we turned up second half.
Yeah, we did.
It was great to see because I thought it was petering out to be nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing game, but we actually pulled all the stops out. And Josh did it in the end.
Josh, he only scores
Super Josh.
goals, isn't it?
I know.
Listen, Thomas Frank, we talk about him as a tactician.
Yes.
Okay, right. Of course, he was against
he's a master tactician.
That's right.
Not just a tactician, he's a master tactician.
That's right. And he's against his old adversary. Steve Cooper, and the two of them always when they come up against each other, it's always a little bit of a tactical battle.
I think there is.
Who do you think won today?
I think we just about shaded it.
Why's that?
We must have.
Why's that?
Well, because we came out 2-1 winners.
Oh, yeah,
and they were falling all over the place, trying to gather, minutes, eating up minutes on the pitch.
That's right.
And the minutes that they ate up, we scored. Yeah. We gobbled it up and we scored.
I'm going to ask you just one last question as well. Andrew Ayew, obviously he's not very popular with the Brentford fans due to the amount of times that he fell over when we used to play him before. I mean, he was never standing up. He was always on the floor, wasn't he? Were you quite surprised how much he stayed up today?
Actually, I thought he actually stayed quite upright for more than normal. Yes. I don't know what was in his, what's in his diet lately, but he's actually standing upright when, in his boots.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what they've been feeding him down there. Yeah. But we, I don't know. I'm just overcome by it all. It's an amazing comeback against a very, very mediocre team, and let's hope they go down. UBs.
Listen, Forest fans in the house, I've got Mr. Dorr, the infamous, the big star, Mr. Dorr. Big star, Mr. Dorr in the house. Dorr, how you doing, my man? Listen, I know I'm asked the question, but again, we come here in peace as we do, like, what I'm saying, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, sometimes we draw. We were disappointed when we get up to Forest because, we were winning 3-2 with the last minute, you got the equaliser, but we put our hand up, said fair enough. We had a very good night in Forest afterwards because we just ignored all that football nonsense, what I'm saying? Kick football as their football, they say. But this today, I thought, to be honest with you, we thought you were going home with the points. We sat there and we said, listen, they're going home with the points, but at the end of the day, it didn't happen. I say it's because that you wasted time too much, but you say that it was 2 mistakes.
2 goalkeeping mistakes. I thought we had control of the game, especially the first half. I think the first 20 minutes, second half, again, we battled, but we can say the 2 mistakes from the goalkeeper. Navas cost us. Then we had Didier Lerkenthoff. We can say about Steve Cooper's tactics.
We're looking forward to Plymouth, mate. Come on. Plymouth away.
But I'm gutted. That game we should have won. But you've got to give credit to Brentford. They fight to the end.
I mean, the one thing I'll say is, and I'm just saying this as well because I've known you from time, I spoke to Greg beforehand and early in the season, and I said this division, it's a really weird division because it's a basic case of you literally have to just pick up points. It's not about wins, it's about picking up points here and there, and it's about sort of scrambling these points out there. And last season, we were like losing games week in and week out. We had a month where we lost 2 games, two months we lost games week in and week out. But then we picked up the points here and there. And that's kind of like the scenario, what you need to get, the mindset that a team needs to get into. Because if you survive the following season, normally you can actually do better. And the thing is, I'm not going to let you, because I don't watch Forest in week in and week out, and I don't know. But today, for me, it was all set up for a win for you.
It was 100%.
And again, for me, it might just be similar to Brentford last season, where what you weren't able to do is see the game out, and before you know it, their 3 points that you're winning turns into a 1-pointer or a 0-pointers. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about, to me, it's all about seeing the game out in this in this league, because 1 minute you could be beating Brighton, who to me, Brighton are the best team that we played in this. They're the best team we've seen in this division. Seriously, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that to you as a mate. Just saying.
Mate, no, but if you look at it, like I said today, I keep mentioning the first half. I think we controlled the game, but you can't hide it. It was 2 mistakes from the goalkeeper. You can complain about the Cooper tactics, but at the same time, with a player with Tyler Wadney, he had to come off because he had a shoulder injury from the Brighton game. So Andrew was doing what he does, holds the ball. I know Brentford fans were hating from Swansea days, but that game we should have won. I don't. It's whatever Forest fans say, but our way form, that we should have won. I'm gutted.
Okay, listen, Dor, I'm not going to interview you anymore because I'm going to touch the microphone off and I'm going to sit down there, and if you want to come back to the pub, I'll buy you a beer, I'll buy your boys a beer and your girls a beer and everything like that, man, and we could just chill out the rest of the evening, you know what I'm saying? This is all good.
Up the Forest.
UBs.
What's your name?
We got Forest fans in the house. I'm Billy the Bee, and we got another Forest fan, another Mr. Dor posse here.
Dave,
listen, we've had a little chat. Dave's in the place here, and Dave, listen, respect to you. And listen, if you listen back to our listen, you're going back in the car.
Yeah.
You listen back to this podcast. We've had a bit of a joke because at the podcast I put Laney on the spot, and I said, Laney, if we could lose against Forest and guarantee Leeds' relegation, would you take a loss? And he went, yes. And we were losing all that time, and I looked at his face, and I think he was looking at me thinking, Bill, you're out of order, because you've made me lose this game. But so I was so pleased when we scored that last goal, so that he's not going to blame me for it, you know what I'm saying? But on the flip side, I love going up to Forest, wicked away day, wicked fans. I know all you characters, I know Dor, Greg, the Forza Garibaldi posse, all them lot. I think all lot, you're wicked, and I don't want you to go down.
No, I don't want us to go down.
But the thing is, you need to start playing some football.
We do.
Right? You can't rely on us. No. Right? Of doing this. You've got to do it yourself.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what's going on here?
We just aren't good enough away from home, Billy. We find ways to lose when we're in good positions. I mean, today, I'm heartbroken at the moment, Billy, right? Because I love my club dearly. And I want my club to be like Brentford, safe and consolidated in this division. Like Brighton and Hove Albion, like Aston Villa, like Fulham. That's what I want us
please,
to do.
don't swear in our presence, you know what I'm saying? But you're doing very well there.
Yeah, but I know. Trust me to fall off the edge. A bit like Forest towards the end there,
That's
Billy,
right, that's right, yeah. It seems to be inherent in the tricky trees area.
You can look at luck, and you can look at Danilo's injury, and like Cooper's made his substitution. That's all hindsight. But in the end of the day, the cold, hard, ruthless analysis says in this division, which is so unforgiving, when you've got a game by the nuts, Billy, you have to finish it off and take your chances and get out of dodge. With a 1-0 would have been amazing for us. As it is, we've had a kick in the goalies, and we go again. We have to go in. Southampton at home, Chelsea away. That's winnable. Arsenal at home, their title might be gone by then.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace are already on the beach having run today, so it's not done. And I always think that when you have a dark day, the sun comes up the next day and it shines, and you never know what's going to go on in life. So I'm not... Respect to Brentford, great club, brilliantly run, fantastic in terms of what a stadium this is, right? Great picking players. Just hope we can end up being like Brentford. That would be brilliant. As it is, we go away, we lick our wounds, get ready for Southampton a week on Monday, put this behind us, because that's all you can do, and we start again, mate.
Wicked,
Billy, an absolute pleasure.
Nice one.
Sending love to everybody at Brentford. Really good club, mate. Bless you.
You bees.
You
almost got it.
Up the Forest. I nearly fell for you. At least what you've done, you've put a smile on a heartbroken man's face. You buggers.
You played well.
I've got to go because we're going for the bus.
walking back to the Globe now as well, and I've got a B. Well, he's not really a B, mate. You know, he's a B for the day. First time down at New Griffin Park, Old Griffin Park, any Griffin Park. First time down at Brentford as well. What was your day like?
Fantastic day, loved it, brilliant. Brentford fans so welcoming. Loved the new stadium. Well, I haven't been to the old stadium, but my experience was fantastic. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Fantastic.
And the match itself, I mean, for us, you know, this is a game where I think a lot of Brentford fans went out there and they expected to have a win straight off because Nottingham Forest aren't doing particularly well. But then others were going, it's going to be a tricky one today because they're fighting for their lives. And it ended up being a sort of a game where it could have gone horribly wrong for the Bees, didn't it?
Yeah, well, you know, I thought that Forest were going to fly out the blocks. And, you know, they were quite competitive. But just the way the game went near the end, I just thought Brentford were being a little bit too ticky-tacky, trying to play their way into it, but they were very good in terms of those big moments at the end of the game. And Tony stepped up, and obviously Josh Da Silva got the goal at the end, which was very impressive to me. I thought, it just didn't look like Brentford were going to step up at the end of the game, but very impressed, and they looked like a very good Premier League outfit, and yeah, didn't see that coming at all.
Thomas Frank, I mean, we talk about him, talk about tactics. I mean, you've probably gone to this game today and you start to get a feel of the fact that we don't particularly like Steve Cooper, who used to be a Swansea manager, and we played them in the playoffs 2 years in a row, and there was a lot of beef between us and Swansea, and Cooper and Thomas Frank, and there was a lot of talk about who's the best tactical manager. But again, we've come up here today, and Cooper and Frank have come up against each other in the Premier League. Thomas Frank, and I'm going to put my hand up saying that, listen, he's made mistakes in the past, and he'll say the same again, but he's learnt a lot. But this game here today, you know, I would say that Thomas Frank tactically has come out the better between the two. What do you say?
Yeah, well, you know, Steve Cooper was using his substitutes to slow the game down. You could see that he was one was coming and then 5 minutes later another one trying to slow it down, where I think Frank, you could see Brentford's quality in the squad, which, you know, I haven't seen 90 minutes of Brentford, but literally every player that came on played a part. I mean, you know, those two that came on at the end, Onyeka and Baptiste, in that deeper role, really did quicken the pace up in midfield, which helped. But yeah, I think you look at how Forest have spent their money, and they've kind of gone for experience. You know, they've got European players from, you know, you look at Lodi and Atletico Madrid and Navas at Real Madrid, but then Brentford, the youthfulness that came off the bench, I think really spoke volumes. And obviously people around me talking about Da Silva scoring big goals in big games, but Brentford's, the squad just, to me, really impressed off the bench. And I think Frank's substitutions were pivotal in the game today.
Listen, Bees, first time that you've seen the Bees in the real life. I mean, you've seen them loads on TV. Seen the Bees, you've got the Bees experience, the singing, the dancing. I mean, it might have been a little bit different if we didn't score that goal in the 90th plus 7 minute. But I'm just saying, happy and come back again?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, the belief in the stadium in on the stands was brilliant, and it was kind of, in a way, you felt like it wasn't going to happen, but in a way, everyone just was believing, and it wasn't a surprise to me that the Bees got the result today.
You Bees?
You Bees.
So listen, Pat, we've got Pat in the house here. We haven't had Pat in the pod for a while, man. And everyone says they missed the Pat in the place. You're very happy we got the points today, weren't you?
I'm very happy. 3 points in the bag, but what an awful game. It was shoddy, to be quite truthful, on both sides. We had a dummy as a linesman on our side, and we had another duff ref on the pitch. And Nottingham Forest are a shameful team to play. And I'm so pleased that I was on the opposite side seeing Steve Cooper, that ugly mug. I didn't miss that for 1 minute, and I'm so pleased that we beat him today. It wasn't a good game at all. I can't say what I've got to be truthful, Bill.
Yeah, you've got to listen, Pat. Listen, we always love the truth of the Pat. The Pat's always truthful. But the thing is that you, to be fair, and we used to sit here during in lockdown, and we all had our little separate tables. We were sitting down there, socially distanced in that back room there, and we sat there. And we were playing Swansea in their matches, and they were cheating. They were cheating so badly, weren't they? And you did. That's when you first stopped holding back, wasn't it?
Yes, but they always cheat, and that Steve Cooper ought to be ashamed of himself. A player went off injured, he sent him back on, then he went off again. It's all wasting time. I'm so pleased he bloody well lost that ugly git.
Okay, right. Pat, just don't hold back, Pat. Don't hold back. Listen, and as we move on. Sorry. Okay.
Up the bees.
Up the bees, Pat. Up the bees. Listen, it's good to get Pat back on, and as we say, Pat does not hold back. Indeed. Forest fans in the house, and I'm going to say to you, these are my chums, these are my buddies. So we're not sitting down here doing the old, doing the old. We don't do the old. You know what I'm saying? We do the respect and the manners. When we came up to you, you got your last-minute equaliser. We still stayed in the pub till very late that night as well. And you were. I don't know if you were happy actually, because you in fact you were, because you got a last minute equaliser, and I obviously wasn't happy because we lost out on 3 points, but we still had a good drink. We sat down and we chatted long into the night that night, but this was a different situation, because I have to say as well, sometimes you have to look at the plus side, the negative sides, wherever you're at, and when it was 80 odd minutes or whatever it was and we were 1-0 down, I sort of plucked up the league table and I saw that Leeds United were just 1 point above the drop zone, and we looked around, we just showed it to everybody. He goes, well, there is a plus side to this game there, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden everything just turned on its head, didn't it?
Tell us our plus side then after that. I'm absolutely gutted. I feel that's one of the worst I've ever felt leaving a ground. I just cannot believe the way that it turned. I mean, a stupid free kick to give away, and then the guy who gives it away jumps out the wall, and then God knows what happens with the keeper. And then you just knew as soon as the fourth official put 7 minutes up, I thought, oh no. I was so shocked when we scored, because we're always backs against the wall in the end of the first half, end of the second half. It's always a stressful struggle. For us to score, we couldn't believe it. And then, I don't know, just that to happen. A game where we never really expected to win. But the way it went, I'd rather it have been 2-1 after 30 minutes and the game peters out, and I felt so much better to be so close, and to see now, because Everton play Leicester obviously on Monday, to see that we're obviously going to be in the relegation zone, and then we don't play Southampton until Monday night. It's tough. I mean, Southampton is win at all costs now for us. I'm gutted. I'm so gutted. You've caught me at I don't know. It's just gutted.
Okay, listen. We've got to talk about Steve Cooper, right? And this is the whole thing. And I remember when Cooper joined you as well, and you were saying what you think of him, and I told you straight. I told you why we weren't particularly happy with him, a number of different reasons, and also we just thought that his tactics were really negative. Right? He was like that all the way through Swansea. We believe that he cheated all his way. Every time he played us, always cheated his way. Ayew, and then he buys Ayew, who was the biggest cheat against us. Literally, I was so surprised. He stood up more in this game than he stood up in all the times that we've ever played him. Right? Ayew, he's like a weeble, wobbles, but he always falls down. You know what I'm saying? So Ayew and the Cooper together. Today, the feeling that we had from our side is that he pulled every tactic out of the book to slow that game down. You could talk about game management, the subs, the people falling over, the this, that, and the other. And the reason why you ended up having no more subs that you could do, because you used up all your subs, because he was using it to wind the clock down. Now, you've got to have a word with Cooper, man, because he's a cheat.
He's the best man. I find that offensive, but he's the best manager we've had since Brian Clough. The stuff he does off the pitch is incredible. To some of my friends who are not very well, and he's just a brilliant person. Tactically, he got us up way before we should have gone up. We shouldn't have gone up last year from the bottom three, so his biggest fault is probably being too successful too soon. When you scored, you booted the ball as hard as you could into the ground. Your players went down. Ivan Toney is not exactly dancing on ice, so that's what football is. I don't believe he's a cheat at all.
You wouldn't, because he's your manager.
Yeah, but he isn't. He isn't. Of course, how is he a cheat? How is he a cheat?
He just cheats. Or maybe he only cheats against us.
He doesn't cheat at all. He's a very, very he's a 43-year-old young manager. He's a young... Oh, let's talk about Thomas Frank then, the most annoying man in Britain. Not having it.
Okay, right, okay, let's bring it back. Let's just take it round and let's just say that, okay, he doesn't cheat, but let's just move it forward then. So this game today, I mean, we thought actually, to be quite honest with you, that Forest put up a good game against the Bees. We always knew it was going to be tough. When we went behind, especially close to half time, that was a killer blow for us. What went wrong in the second half?
Just momentum changed. Your lot finally found out to sing, because it was very silent. It's not like your old stadium. I miss that place very much. It just weren't very good. You know, backs against the wall. We're in the bottom three. We're nervous. As soon as you scored, we just knew then. We knew that was it. You could tell that was it. Players lost their heads a little bit. We panicked. The goal we gave away, the first goal, was just bad. Just really bad. From the needless free kick to jumping out the way of the wall to... I need to see it again, but I don't know whether it was a Navas own goal in the end, but just not good enough. It's just sickening. It was so good, because we were so close.
What I'm going to say is that, and we've had 1 year's more experience than you have in this league. We know, it's not over till it's over. At the end of the day, it's about grinding points out. And I said this to you beforehand. It's not about 3 points, it's about grinding points out here. You have still got quite a few games to go between now and the end of the season. You got a ridiculous win against Brighton that no one expected. You know what I'm saying? You technically could have got a win here that no one expected, which would turn things on its head. You know what I'm saying? It's not over for the Forest. I know that you feel it might be over, but at the end of the day, there's still quite a long way to go, because at the bottom of this league, and I said this to you before, most of the teams, they don't win. Everyone loses every week, so all you need is a win.
It's the injuries. We've just got to somehow get some luck. We sat in front of Omar Richards today, the bloke we signed who's never kicked a ball for us, in anger, and it's just like we've got so much bad luck. The luck has to turn. Seeing Ryan Yates come on the pitch today was an absolutely brilliant moment. You know, there's been rumours about him and his injuries for a long time, and some of us wondered whether we'd ever see him play again. So players are coming back, but we seem to be losing more than are coming back. So Southampton is the biggest game of the season by a country mile now. It's the most winnable game it's the most winnable game of our run-in, and if we don't win it, then even I will say we ain't staying up. We've got to beat Southampton. That's it.
I'm going to say this because I want to go back to Nottingham next season. Good luck for the rest of the season.
And Steve Cooper is a wonderful human being.
That's you said that, not me. Breeze in the house. So listen, 2 points, 3 points, 1 point, 10 points. I don't know how many points we got there. You know what I'm saying? 1 minute it was none. Next minute it was loads. Happy with that?
Yeah, very happy with that. I think to come back from 1-0 down, it takes great courage and great teamwork to do that. I think Thomas Frank did an amazing job.
He knows exactly what you need, doesn't he?
Exactly. I think he's really special in the sense, you see other managers, like for say Arteta, he'll throw the kitchen sink at it and the game would crumble away from Arsenal. When you see Brentford do it, he takes off Rico Henry, he brings on Wissa. We start attacking, and then we lead to goals. I think Thomas Frank has really, really revolutionised this team. I think we're going to compete for Europe next year, and it'll be a good season next season. Yeah.
UBs.
Come on, UBs.
Bees fans in the house, we're back in the Globe here. Lots of beers, lots of people outside, lots of people celebrating, lots of people very happy. Forest fans obviously not as happy, and we're not gloating at all because we're not that type of club. At the end of the day, it can happen to us in the same way that it can happen to them. However, this is our second division, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Second year in this division, and we're starting to learn a few things, and we're learning to grind out them results, and we managed to, not grind it out, but we managed to turn this one around, didn't we?
I think relegation teams are always really difficult to play against, aren't they? Because, they've got so much to lose. And today they pulled every dirty trick out of the book, didn't they, in terms of rolling around and making it count, wasting time. But I thought, actually, the first 70 minutes were pretty frustrating, and then we kind of got our act together a little bit and made it happen, and glad we did in the end. It was nice to hear Freed from Desire after quite a long time at the G-Tech.
It was. It's interesting, the Forest fans, they were talking about the fact that they said they miss our old stadium. They thought the atmosphere is better at old stadium than the new stadium, but you've got to bear in mind the match and what we've been through, and we could see how it undulates sometimes with the atmosphere. Sometimes it's kind of cool. You go to a Fulham game, obviously it's going off the rocker. The Liverpool game, it's going off the rocker. But with Forest come down, and this is all due respect to Forest, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of one of those ones where, you know, you could just see that there's going to be something special to pick the game up. And I think it was only when Andrew Ayew came on that the atmosphere actually started to get a little bit, because there was nothing in it for us before that.
No, not at all. And it didn't feel like we were going to score today, which was quite a shame. But no, I think the crowd started to lift a bit, didn't they? And they started to get a bit irritated, I think, by the things that Forest were pulling. And I think that probably raised the atmosphere a little bit, which is what we needed, because we've been too quiet for too long. So.
Thomas Frank knows exactly what we need as well, doesn't he?
Thomas Frank knows exactly what we need, as always.
He said, get the crowd, let's bring on more subs. He said, bring on more subs for us, because he knew exactly what we needed. So he actually told the Cooper, and the Cooper said, OK, I'll bring more subs on.
Yeah, and actually, I thought, is he going to bring everybody off the bench? You know, and it felt like he did, but it made the difference, didn't it? We just needed something to change it up a little bit, and it worked.
Well, it did as well, and he brought so many people off the bench that he realised, oh no, I've brought my capacity of people off the bench, so I had to finish the game with 10 men. That was a bit of a fluff, wasn't it?
Yeah, but not the first time, is it?
So listen, Brentford, now we've got the points in this game here, which means that we've turned a bit of a corner, because we had a couple of results that didn't go particularly well. We got a fantastic result against Chelsea. This one looks like, you know, we were going the other way. We brought it back. How's it looking forward for us?
Oh, I mean, I think it's been a wonderful season, hasn't it? And I think, you know, whatever happens now, we're going to enjoy it. And nothing to lose. The higher we can get, the better. The team looked tired. They looked a bit down at the end, I thought, as they were walking around. There wasn't the same energy level, but maybe just...
Maybe that was a Hey Jude, that they decided to play the whole song, and we were like, oh, look, when's it coming? Oh, no, and then they cut the chorus off. What's that all about?
I do wonder sometimes about the Hey Jude, and who gets it right and who gets it wrong, but, you know, we were watching Peter Gillam doing his dad dancing, and that just lifts our hearts. That makes us happy. So... no, but I think, you know, the rest of the season, we've got to enjoy it. We've got to enjoy it, make the most of it. It's been wonderful. So, a great season for us.
UBs. Yes, we're still here in the Globe, outside the Globe. Tell you something, this day has been long coming. We've been wanting to stand outside this boozer for ages, and the weather has just been so... But when you... All of a sudden, it's come like this, and we think, this is just like back end of season. Outside the pub, having a beer, everyone chatting, away fans here, plentiful. OK, listen, they didn't win, but listen, respect to the Forest fans. They still come up here and have a drink after the game, and that really is what it's all about. So, respect to the Forest fans, but you're not giving respect to the Forest manager, are you?
Listen, I've got no problem with Nottingham Forest as a club. I respect them, respect their titles, their European successes, their legacy. But when I came here today, I got to train in, and the sun was shining. It was a lovely day, but I could smell something that I hadn't smelt since the Championship. It was Cooper. Cooperism was in the air. I could smell it, and I realised I didn't like it. I couldn't remember why. I knew that when I arrived, I couldn't stand him. I hated Cooper. But my memory was shot. I couldn't remember exactly why, but I knew it was true. And then I walked into Fortress, New Griffin Park.
Yes.
First half was close. We started well. It was a good duel. First 15 were on top. They evened us out. They got ahead. And I still didn't know why I hated him, but I did. The hate was strong.
Yes.
But I couldn't quite realise exactly why.
Yes.
And then the second half commenced.
Yes.
And every 2 seconds, Cooper's influence was everywhere. There was men going down when a fly hit them.
Not when we play Swansea.
If a mosquito flew by.
Like when we play Swansea.
Just like the Swansea days when Cooper was in charge. When Steve Cooper was in charge of Swansea, back in those Championship duels, the same stuff was happening. Every time a leg clashed, a man was down for 10 minutes. There was one moment when Gibbs Morgan White gets hit in the hand when he's off the pitch, and he has a little look up, and he makes sure that he's on the pitch before he goes down again, claiming a head injury. Cooper all over him. The Cooper was strong. However, you knew when that free kick came in and Tony curled it in, Cooper was unravelling like he did in the Championship. And what I want tonight, what I want to see on Match of the Day, if I'm still compass mentis for it, right? What I want to see...
I doubt that very much.
I don't think it's going to happen. What I want to see is 3 or 4 things. I want to see close-up of... And it's very rarely any person wants a close-up of Cooper, especially with an ultra-high definition telly, right? But I want to see a close-up of him when we equalise. I want to see a close-up of him when...
When we scored the second goal?
No, not just that. When their man goes off injured and he realises he's fucked it by substituting on their players. Yeah. And then I want a close-up of him, obviously, when the winner goes in. But more importantly,
VAR.
I want the VAR close-up. I want that hope moment.
We haven't talked about this, actually. So we'll talk about the VAR because we haven't talked about this in the whole podcast. So the second goal went in 90 plus 7.
It's in 90 plus 7. And out of nowhere, there's a VAR check, which I don't really know what I'm led to believe. I could be wrong. That maybe when the shot went in, someone was in the way of the keeper.
Shoelace was offside or something.
Someone said it was Tony, but the official thing said Visser. I haven't seen it. But I want that moment. I want that moment in slow motion where Cooper has hope and his heart breaks. That's what I want. And I'm going to make it my screenshot if they do that. Steve, we may never play you again, but it's been lovely. I wish you all the best.
So we got Darren Escobar here. Darren Escobar, who's just come back from Colombia. He's been out in Colombia for far too long. You've been here, not for a week or two, you've been there for about 6 months nearly. You know what I'm saying? Out there, the Escobar. He's Escobar, but he's Escobar. And we're not going to ask you what you're doing in Colombia. I'm going to just ask you about the game, because whatever you do there, I'm very, very nervous that if the Colombian characters are listening, I may be taken out of my house and with a hood on and put in the back of a car, and you'll never see me again, just like those television programmes. But anyway, just tell me that's not going to happen.
All I'm doing out there is supporting the mighty, mighty Bees. 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning, 6-hour time difference. So yeah, a few beers watching the mighty Bees.
Sure.
Anyway, back to today's game. Great win for the Bees. I mean, disappointing that I thought we started really well. We seemed to, have a lot of possession, obviously. Weren't quite sure what to do with that possession, and that's the problem, isn't it, against teams like Forest and teams down that kind of end of the division. We didn't really create a chance or a proper shot on goal either until Tony's free kick. I mean, the great thing is that old Navas seemed to have issues getting down to his left post for both goals. So that was quite handy. Tony's in off the post, maybe in off his head, I'm not sure.
Maybe some of your Colombians out there might have put a little betting syndicate thing going on, maybe. Maybe it was you.
Yeah, well, we had words. He knows what happened to the other Escobar in the World Cup 1994.
Yes, yeah, we won't talk about that.
Anyway, moving on. So, then obviously Josh Silva popped up. A lot of angst in the stadium. Well, a lot of celebration in the stadium when Josh scored his goal in, the 94th, 95th minute. But then, of course, the old VAR came up and everyone had a little sweat and a little chew of the nails. But then I had a word with my mates in Colombia and it was all good. It was all good.
This is all good.
So,
I mean, listen, you haven't seen the Bees in flesh for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, how nice is it to come back here?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about it is that it wasn't quite the same.
Yeah.
Because obviously you've got a game, and the atmosphere was all right, but, a little bit nervous, but also a little bit on the beach and a little bit kind of like nothing really riding on it.
Yeah, exactly. When it gets this time of year and the weather's nice and everyone's like, in the summertime, whenever, and, having the beers outside the game, going down to the ground, I think it does change the atmosphere a little bit. Everyone's a bit more relaxed, maybe on the pitch as well. I was really impressed today with Hickey. I thought he looked really, really good. He's come on quite a lot since I last saw the Bees 3 months ago. Thought he looked quite composed. Ben Mee was fucking solid, legend as ever. Absolutely spectacular, and just in control of all the time. Pinnock very, very, very solid. Tony had a very quiet game until he popped up with a goal. He kept on popping up on the wings and being a little bit like Harry Kane, dropping deep and all that kind of stuff. And every time I was like, get in the box instead of trying to create the crosses, get on the end of the crosses. So not sure what was going on there. But Forest played 2 lines. They were quite hard to break through. They came to defend. They got a lucky goal, obviously. That unsettled us before half-time. But I had faith, to be honest. Like, not just saying it, I did have faith that the Bees would pull it back.
Like George Michael, yeah?
Like George Michael, I had the faith. Because you've got to have faith, haven't you? That's right. Got to have faith. And so, great day out. Great to be back. The post-match, the pre-match, the match itself. And when Freed from Desire, starts up, you're up for a good night. You're up for a good night.
And roll on Liverpool.
Roll on Liverpool, yeah.
Big weekend
coming up next weekend. You know, travelling up there, big night out in Liverpool after the game. Win, lose, draw. I think we will actually get a result up there, to be fair. But no, Liverpool fans are always great, and we're looking forward to going up there and having a few shandies with them.
You bees. Bees in the house. Actually, no, it's Laney's in the house here as well. And listen, we've spoken to so many people here today. I mean, for a sort of kind of box standard win, people have been just talking because there's a pottiness going on here. Laney, will you listen?
I can be as long or as short as you want. I can say we were shit, but we won.
Yes.
I can say they are so shit that we won.
Yes. You can say that Cooper cheated.
Well, it was
inevitable.
It was inevitable. Yeah, you know what you get with him. And I said in the first half that the last thing we want to do is go a goal down because you know what you're going to get. But we did. We when I looked at the Brentford team, and I thought that is a really attack-minded lineup, and we're gonna go at them, and we're really going to take them to the cleaners because you know Tony and Sharda and Mbumo and they are players that can really damage. But we didn't do it, and we really were poor first half and
rubbish.
Yeah, we were rubbish, and the crossing was shit. And anyway. So exactly what I thought happened. We went a goal down right at the last knock into the first half, and then you're up against 7 at the back, and you're up against the antics. You're up against players getting injured, going to roll out of play, and then roll back onto play, and then you've got players that go off with a terminal hamstring injury, then manage to hobble back on again, and then have to go off again.
Is that when you ran through the bottle at hands?
Oh, didn't see that.
Yeah, he got arrested.
Well, he deserves it. Yeah. He deserves it. But I mean, that's nothing. It's not to do with cheating. That's just being a twat. But you know, I've got to thank the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper for being awful because he gave us both goals today. And you know, I thought Forest were just whatever. We weren't a lot better, and we got the points. I think it was an awful game of football that we won.
Listen, this is the Besotted Pride of West London podcast. We're coming to you from the Globe. We are just subscribe to us and also write us a review. Also buy us a beer, besotted.com/Globe.
Don't subscribe.
Listen.
Don't stay up.
Listen. There's some bad. There's some not bad. They're not happy what's going on. I think the Forest fans are all. But other than that, like I said to you, don't forget to check out the podcast, Pride of West London. Subscribe to us on Pride of West London. We've got another game coming next week. I don't even know who we're playing. Who are we playing next week, lady?
We're playing Liverpool.
We're playing Liverpool. Of course, we're going up to Liverpool. Massive weekend, coronation weekend. So that'll be very interesting up in Liverpool because yes, that'll be very interesting. So catch us out. We're going to do a big podcast. We're going to talk about the USA tour. We're going to get our Liverpool chums from the Anfield Wrap on the podcast as well, which will be very, very interesting. We make that nice long. We'll have a laugh, and we're going to have some jokes up in Liverpool. Like I said to you, my name's Billy Grant. I'm here with the Laney. Come on, you bees! You bees!